Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Now, today we're drinking a beer that was requested that I drink by a lot of people. A fairly new beer. This company has made a beer like this before, but not with this title. Anyway, the beer is Blue Ice. So Blue Ice is 5.5% alcohol. Just checking if there's anything on here that's worth mentioning. Trademarked by Labatt Brewing Company. That's all it says. Doesn't have an ingredients list. Doesn't have anything. Just 473 milliliters, 5.5% alcohol by volume. Okay. Also, basement temperature. I think I'm already going to regret pouring it into a glass. Maybe a beer that doesn't taste all that bad, because there are a lot of macro beers that are like that. They don't taste bad, but boy do they smell wrong. And this one smelt on that first little sniff before I poured it out that that's what it was going to be, but look at that. That is nice white head, big bubbles. Nice snap crackle pop. Does the camera pick that up? Crystal clear. Good deal of carbonation. That is dehydrated pea color right there. Right before you're fully dehydrated, right before the blood starts mixing in, just very, very yellow pea-ish. Kind of does look like a Belgian blonde in color, just a little bit more yellow tinges to it. Give it a sniff. Actually, look at the glass. It just kind of smells like straw and corn. Yeah, it's the can. The can with that small hole. That's where that sugar fortified, slightly candied, tinny, metallic shit smells coming from. But out of the glass, basically your average macro beer, straw, like straw, corn, and that's it. Doesn't smell bad out of the glass. Just don't smell it out of the can. Cheers. Okay. This is a strange one for me because it's not offensive, but I don't like it. And it's not like a lot of macro beers where it's just not for me and it's still going to be over a 5 because it's inoffensive and it's drinkable. For me, I don't like this. I don't want to drink it, but it's the taste of it. And it's not off flavors, it's not off-putting flavors, it's just flavors that I don't personally like. If it was ice cold, if it was refrigerated, would I get them? Probably not, but I mean, we all drink beer at whatever temperature we like. Some people like to drink their beer ice cold. Some people don't. I actually like my beer after a few hours of being in the fridge. I don't particularly like it room temperature or warm. I like it to be slightly cooler than room temperature, which is why I usually store all my stuff in the basement, right on the concrete, because that gives it a little bit of a chill. Just a tiny bit. Like if the room was like 18 degrees, when you put it on the concrete floor of the basement, it's going to be like 15. Just a couple degrees off, and that's the way I like my beer personally. That's what this beer is at. Probably more 16 because it's been warm out, and that might be letting me taste these things. But it's mostly the finish. The front is exactly what you'd expect. It's corny, it's grainy, it's a slightly sweet but dry at the same time. An interesting forefront, but what you'd expect from a lot of ice beers. It's better than a lot of ice beers in that it doesn't have that overly sweet taste that a lot of ice beers have. So I'll give it that. If you're an ice beer fan and you're after the sweet forefront that a lot of ice beers have, this might not be for you. But if you want the 5% alcohol beer with a cleaner, crisper forefront, this might be the ice beer for you because it does have that. It's the finish for me that I don't like. And it actually tastes like there's actual hops in this, and I think that's what's putting me off. Like I'm getting a slightly gritty, slightly dirty, almost English hop-like bitterness mixed with a drying herbal noble hop-like taste, as well as almost a rye-like dryness coming out at the end too. Yeah, it's not for me, but it's not a bad beer. I mean, it tastes like it's better put together than a lot of macro beers out there, and I wouldn't have expected that, and I give them that. It's just not my thing. I'll personally give it a 4 out of 10. I don't want to drink it again. I don't want to drink it again. I don't want to drink it again. As an ice beer, it's probably worth a 7 out of 10 as an ice beer, and I mean, that's giving it a higher mark than some of the ice beers that I've drank that I liked. But stylistically, it is clean, it is crisp, it's easy drinking, it's smooth, it has all the adjectives that big brewers like to throw onto their beers. But for this style, that's kind of what you're expecting. You're expecting just a stronger taste, and that's what you're getting. It's not as watered down. And I mean, maybe they actually did ice brew this, or they ice filtered it. It's actually Molson that usually ice filters, if I remember the battle back then. I'd have to look it up. It was back in the early 90s that ice beers came out, and I don't remember if it was one ice brewed and one ice filtered. And I think it was Molson that ice filtered. If this is actually ice brewed, it would explain why there's so much of a hop flavor and why there's so much of a pronounced malt flavor. Do I like them? Again, not really, but can I say it's a bad beer? No, I can't. Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 10. I don't want to drink it again, but if I really had to, could I? Yeah, I could. It's not offensive to me, it's just not something I like. And I mean, in that instance, I thought about giving it a 5 because I could drink it if I had to, but I don't like it. And that might get people angry, but that's perfectly fine. You know what? We all don't have to like the same thing. And I'm not actually dissing the beer, I'm saying that I don't personally like the taste of it. It does have its merits, it does have its place, it isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And for that, Labatt gets a thumbs up. But for me ever drinking the beer again, it's a thumbs down. If you see the beer on the shelf, it was under $3 for the can, buy a can, try it. You might like it. Don't drink it as warm as I do unless that's what you like. Don't drink it in the can, drink it out of a glass, or drink it in the can if that's what you want. Whatever the fuck you want to do, you do it. Okay? Just let me know what you feel. Thank you guys.